Hey, Len Erickson here with another Purveyor of Light Photoshop quick tip. Today we've got a real fun one. Today we're going to be getting a little creative with Photoshop and take some of our boring pictures here and turn them into creative pop-outs. I'm sure you guys have seen these pop-out effects before, where the photo looks like it's coming out of the picture frame. I want to show you how quick and easy it is. And how you can turn around and use your own photos and make some really fun creative projects. So let me go ahead and show you here. So we're starting out with this basic picture here, and what we're hoping to end up with is a pop out here where the picture is actually popping out of the frame, and it's a nice little effect. Okay, so that's our goal, and so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're starting out with our basic background image. And the first thing I want to do is I want to duplicate that image twice. And I hit Command J, and now I have two duplicates, which are for a total of 3 background images. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and select the middle background, and I'm going to hit a new layer and put that right in between, right below the top layer. And this is going to be named the frame. Okay, this is going to be our picture frame. So right now we have a blank layer and we're going to make it a picture frame. So for that we're going to use our rectangular selection tool, and we're going to go ahead and start in about a 1/2 inch, I guess, around the picture, go all the way to the bottom, make sure it's evenly 1/2 inch on both sides, left and right. When you're happy, let go. And so there we have a rectangular selection. This is going to be our picture frame. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to stroke this frame with white. To do that, we go up to Edit and Stroke, and then we're going to stroke it. We'll probably go with 20 pixels. I recommend white, but of course you could use any color you wish. But typically picture frames are stroked white. Make sure its location is inside, 100% normal, and hit OK. Now apparently right off the bat you didn't see any change, but that's because the top layer is hiding it. So let's go ahead and turn off the top layer so we can see. And there we are. We can see now that we have our picture frame all ready to go. And so now the next step we have to do is we actually have to give the appearance that the picture frame is kind of like laying down on an angle or laying backwards. Just a slight bit of distortion, and we can be able to make that optical illusion. So in order to do that, we still have this picture frame rectangular selection selected. We need to go ahead and do a perspective. So we're going to go up to Edit, Transform, and Perspective, and that's going to give us our handlebars here. Now we can grab one of the corners in the up, and we're just going to push them in, and you'll notice how it's making the picture frame lean back. Okay, and when you're happy with the effect, you just let go, and then you go ahead and hit enter to make the transformation. Okay, so that's step 1. Now this is pretty good, but I'm also looking at it that maybe a little more transformation would be in hand. So I'm going to say Command T for transform, and I'm going to take this middle bracket and I'm just going to drop it down just a little bit. Okay, maybe to like that. I think that would be just right. And when I'm happy with my selection, there we are. Okay, so now we have the illusion of a picture frame laying back at an angle, and I think that will work out really nice. Maybe actually even maybe a little more actually, huh? Let me look at that. Let me do adjustments here, and again, this is going to be, personal taste, how you want to lay down the picture. I'm just seeing what looks best here, and I'm saying that I'm going to say actually there. I didn't think I wanted to go that far, but I think I am. Okay, so now I have the perspective laying back. And now we're ready to continue with the pop out. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do is we need to put a mask over this so that we can mask out the areas we want and keep the areas we want to keep. All right, so in order to do that, okay, we need to turn around and do a quick mask. And so if I hit Q, okay, you can see we're selecting everything except our frame, and that's not what we want. So what we want is we want to be able to click on our layer here and select the frame itself. So we're going to do that by hitting Command and then clicking on the picture. Now we have our frame selected, okay, but we also want to have the rest of the picture outside the frame selected. So in order to do that, we have to invert our selection. So we go Command-Shift-I, and now we have selected everything in the picture, and I'm going to hit Q for Quick Mask. And you can see now that the mask itself, the frame itself, is now masked. And all we have to do now is we actually have to fill in the background here to complete the mask. We can do that with the paint bucket. So we pick the paint bucket, we make sure we're painting in black, and we just paint out here, and now we are encompassing everything except our window. Okay, so we're masking out just the areas we need of the picture. So to turn off the quick mask, we hit Q again. Okay, and now we're going to select the second to last layer, our second background image, and we're going to go ahead and hit the layer mask button. And you're going to automatically see when we do that, the mask is designed to be what we had selected. So now the only thing that's going to be revealed is the areas in white, right, and black, so forth. So this allows us to show parts of the image that we want to show and hide parts of the image we don't want to show. Okay, so we are just moving right along here. The next step we need to do is we need to actually turn off these layers, okay? And in order to do that, we're going to come in here and turn off our layers, and we're going to turn on the top layer again, and we're going to select it. And in order to do this, now we're working with the top layer, we just want to have our selection just on the aircraft itself. So there's a lot of ways we could turn around and make a selection. On this one here, I'm going to do a really quick and dirty one, and I think this is a perfect job for the quick selection tool. So I'm going to go up and get the quick selection tool, and I'm then going to do a really quick selection. Okay, and again, you would be doing a lot better, more careful job than I'm doing here. But you just come in and do your areas. Don't forget the landing gear and parts of the engines or anything that's going to be giving the appearance of being in the air. We have the tires, landing gears here. Let me change in that. There we go. Okay, so I think we're pretty good. Oh, that was bad. Ding. There we go. Okay, so I think I've got a pretty good selection here. I'm going to go ahead and hit Refine Edge, and that's going to let me mask out the areas. Okay, now we see we have a pretty crude, little rough around the edges, as they say. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on Smart Radius, and we're going to click our brush here, and we're going to go try to see how we can do a Smart Radius to improve our selection. So we're going to pull it over. We're going to watch our selection, see how it smooths out here, gets more details, and I think that's good enough for our demonstration here. Decontaminate edges if you feel you need to decontaminate. But that looks pretty good to me. We're not going to be worrying about the little areas here. We can always touch them up later. Okay, so good enough selection. We hit OK. And now you'll notice that it automatically made a mask for us. And So now we're ready to continue on with our thing. And now the last background layer here, I want to do a fill in black. Okay, and I'm just going to fill with black, 100% normal. And there we are. Now we have our aircraft, and now we can see where we are, and we're looking pretty good. And so we turn on the background image here. We turn on the pop out, and we're starting to see how we're coming together. Okay, now you can see we have a little overage here on the frame, a little bit here, but other than that, we're looking pretty good. So we just need to do a little touch-ups. So let's go ahead and do a little touch-up. That's going to be on our top layer here, and we're just going to pick up some of the areas by clicking on the mask. And then we're going to paint with either with white or black, depending on what we want to do. White is going to reveal, and black is going to conceal. So in this case, we are going to paint in white to show the areas we want. So we make sure we're selected on white. We hit the paintbrush, and then we just go over the areas here where you see where we have a couple areas where we're missed. And if you need to just touch up some things, you just go in and touch up in the areas. You can see a little bit here, right? And any other touch-ups you need. Now, of course, when you're doing this for real, you're going to take a lot more time. But for these demonstration purposes, we're pretty good here. I can notice that we're overlapping the frame ever so slightly. So not a problem at all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a selection using the polygon tool, and I'm just going to actually come in and just go around this frame, and there I made a selection. Okay, and then again I want to hide, right, black to hide, so I'm going to switch to the black brush, and then I'm just going to turn around and just paint in where I was overlapping. And then deselect, Command D, and there we are. How easy is that? So let's put one final touch on this. We're going to click on the background layer, and just to put that little something extra in the picture, let's put a simple gradient on it. Okay, I think that will really add some dimensionality to it. So we're going to go ahead and select our gradient tool, and I'm going to make sure that I am selected on the very first one, which is linear gradient, and I'm going to go ahead and hit default colors, black to white, and I'm going to just drag and drop, and there I have a nice gradient, and there we have it. Okay, so with a few easy steps, we have created a pop-out. And I think if you look at it here, I think you say, hey, it made a pretty interesting example. Now, I want everybody now to go home and turn around and fire up their Photoshops, find a picture that is just screaming to be a pop-out, and go ahead and give this a try. This technique works with all kinds of photos. There's virtually no limit. You can do this with people, pets, cars, boats. You can have all kinds of fun. So, hopefully you enjoyed this, and hopefully you found this useful. So, if you have, please leave some comments down below. Be sure and hit the subscribe button so you get notified of our weekly videos. And until next week, this is Len Erickson saying, you take care.